Okay, guys, this is actually pretty fun because these two guys are friends, the two best friends that anyone could have. Chris Simms, Kyle Shanahan hanging out, and look at how long they've known each other.
Right there, though.
Wow. A lot has changed, guys. A lot's changed.
Hey, calm down, calm down. Very good work by you. You're very funny, Maria.
Yo, 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 what's up? It's Chris Simms. It's Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Connor Rogers and I, we're back. We're in Studio 6. We can't be in the big studios today because there's a bigger show going on today. Yeah, called the Olympics at NBC. What's up, dude? Good to see you.
Man.
Good to be back with you. Look at you, Johnny Company, USA, man, over there.
Represent.
USA.
Olympics promo
got the hockey jersey on. I actually do like it. It's pretty cool.
Best part of the Olympics to me.
Yeah.
Love the hockey, both women's and men's. The women's has been crazy so far. The men's will pick up in the next couple days.
I'm just getting into it. Last night was the first night I kind of turned it on and was like, okay, wait, what the hell's gone on? What's going on? Right? Because, of course, Super Bowl Monday, you travel back, got back kind of late at night, and then it's like, I haven't watched anything yet. So.
It is hard to keep up with, which is why the Gold Zone has been so awesome here. The fact that you literally have a way to kind of flip around every single event. So it's amazing, and being in this building is this is the first time I've ever been
crazy
in the building during
the
Olympics. I've worked here 4 years, but I always purposely am like, there's a lot going on. We're not doing anything. I don't come in. It's really cool to see.
It is. We're a well-functioning machine when it comes to Super Bowl, Olympics. It's unreal. Yeah, when you drive into the parking lot at 6:25 in the morning and you go, holy shit, the parking lot's packed.
And there's buses,
exactly. And
in.
you're like, you know something's going on. Definitely. But you, stylish as always. Really, you don't have to try. You're in the competition for the most stylish guy in the building.
Damn,
really.
thank you.
I mean, you and the NBA guys, right?
That's tough for me.
It is tough. They got a lot more money than you.
They got a lot more money.
They do.
My budget for
fashion designer, but you make the best of it.
Thank you, Chris.
You make the best of it, man. Definitely.
Speaking of looking good, I said to you as soon as I saw you, how freaking cool is it to not only do a Super Bowl, but to do it alongside your best friend?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this because we love him on the show and everything. I thought Kyle was amazing on TV.
Definitely.
And the world did. I saw the reactions on the internet.
Right.
Seeing you guys together, that is just, it doesn't get cooler than that.
It was cool. I mean, first off, to be a part of my dream my whole life was to play in a Super Bowl. My whole life, since I was a little kid.
Right.
Of course, that never happened. But
it's pretty hard.
This is a great, it is pretty hard. Exactly right. And this is a great consolation prize. The fact to even be a part of the pregame and all that was special to me. Somebody who's, a football historian that's been obsessed with the sport and could tell you everybody who won the Super Bowl, the score, the MVP, every guy in every roster since I was about 4.5 years old, right? That was awesome to be there. And then you couple that with, doing it with your best friend, where our dreams have always been Super Bowls. Now, he's been there, but he hasn't won one yet. And, he was incredibly self-deprecating and explaining things about Seattle himself, his Super Bowl struggles, and that's why he's the man, because he keeps it real 100% of the time. Yeah, when he's the head coach, sometimes he's got to be a little careful what he says because you don't want to get information about his own team that he doesn't need to be out there, when, doesn't want to give bulletin board material to the other team, all of that. So coaches get a little scared in those environments. So now you just get them, hey, it's comfortable, it's got nothing to do with your team, just talk some ball. And then I think between me and we know how awesome Jason Garrett is and Devin McCourty is and Maria, I think he felt really comfortable quickly, and that was the cool thing about it.
It was very evident how comfortable he was. We still have a lot to do today. Before we get there, though, we're going to talk about Klint Kubiak to the Raiders official. I love the hell yeah after the game. I'm going. What does it matter at
Who
this
the hell
point?
is about the NFL rules and all that? I'm going.
The nominees for the Homies Choice Awards.
Yeah.
So you're going to be able to vote, of course.
Big
we have
stuff
all
here.
the nominees. Being on the field, it's just star central.
Right.
How big did that feel? Who did you run into?
Well,
I saw some of it, but there's only so much you can see from watching at home.
Right.
I'm sure there's a lot behind the scenes that you can.
Well, the pregame is incredible, right? And I do think we have a video of one of my Instagram videos, or just a quick mashup of some of the things I did. So here you go. I mean, first off, there's Cooper Kupp, there's Carmelo, right? Did Reggie Miller? They missed that right there. There's Kyle, the Seahawk, the pet in the Seahawk. There's Michael Bennett, right? Legend to me. Mike McDonald, getting the chance to talk to him and gotten to know him a little bit over the year. Josh McDaniels, say hi to him as he's watching the offense warm up. Then it was kind of the stars of the NFL. I'm having fun with Travis Kelce. You see Eric Armstead there. You got Garrett Bowles, right? Jordan Love, Kyron Williams, Demario Demario Davis, who I've known for a long time and had some fun with him. Then I do the Milton Williams interview, and then it becomes crazy, okay? Because it becomes Mr. Kraft, Travis Scott, right? Stephon Diggs, who I've had a long relationship with.
From Stephon Diggs.
Well, he's my buddy. Yeah. He's my buddy. I mean, and then Jay-Z, right? So it was like Jay-Z, Travis Scott, Mr. Kraft, Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs calling me out, going, "Who'd you take? Who'd you take?" And I was like, prove me wrong, right? That's what I did. And he takes it right in stride, which he should. But that experience right there, being on the field, the stars, even the ones I didn't get to see, right? I got to see Chris Pratt and talk to him for a while. We didn't even put that on the Instagram, right? Where I want to be like, man, not only do I think you're an awesome actor,
that's a big one.
My daughter in Jurassic World thinks you're the greatest actor in the world. Like, I wanted to say stuff like that, but I didn't say it. But so, the energy, the stars, all that special, right? Even for me, I'm a fanboy. I'm a fanboy when it comes to football players, let alone Jay-Z and Travis Scott. I mean, come on, no doubt about it. Mr. Kraft, right? The one thing I'll say, Mr. Kraft, I have a special place in my heart for the Kraft family. Him and Jonathan were great to me when I worked for the Patriots. Mr. Kraft used to come into my room, right? My little cubicle when I had been there for 80 out of the last 92 hours of life, right? And he'd go, "Are you sure you want to do this? I mean, you're not like these guys. You're a star." And, not to say that I'm a star or anything like that, but I think, he looked at it and goes, I don't know if you're the curmudgeon the rest of these coaches are, right?
Right.
You're always smiling and happy and blah, blah, blah. I don't know if you fit in here with Bill Belichick and company. So when the time did come to have to make that decision, and that wasn't the reason I made the decision, but that was in the back of my mind a little bit to go, he gave me some confidence there as far as who I am and where I could go.
That's really cool.
He was very cool. But, special there. And, there's nothing that can match that Super Bowl energy and the stars that are walking around.
Who is number one that you ran into?
Well, honestly, I think it was Travis Scott. Yeah, I really like Jay-Z. I've met before,
right?
So, and being up here in New York and all that. I mean, Jay-Z, as we know, is legendary. And for my age group, right? I mean, I'm prime Jay-Z age, right? But Travis Scott, I feel like, new age. I love Travis Scott's music legitimately right now. Like, I think my wife or family would tell you, like, it's one of the top 2 or 3 rappers that's going to go on, or anything on my radio would be Travis Scott. So, like, literally, as I was saying hi to Mr. Kraft, he was right there. And I was literally, like, saying hi and being like, oh, my gosh, I want to leave you and go say hi to Travis Scott. That's Travis Scott, right? But, of course, I talked to Mr. Kraft, and I got a chance to go say hi to Travis Scott nonetheless. I think that was probably it. But, actually, there's one more special one. I was going to do this in chronological order, but so halftime, we're in a green room. The rest of the whole NBC TV group is up at the big set. I'm not a part of the halftime show. They had told us the day before that Bad Bunny was going to be getting dressed behind some curtains in our green room. Don't disturb him. Right? That's like, you can't say that to me, right? But so it's me and 3 other people, right? I am the child that's like, don't touch that button. I'm like, I'm not gonna touch it.
Do not pet the zoo animals.
But he was in there and he was vibing and he was warming up his voice, and it was only me and Noah Eagle and a few other people. And so now I'm getting the snacks, and I can kind of see him through the white curtains, and I'm like, damn, I see him, and he's kind of dancing and doing stuff like that. And there's a little crack in the curtains. I can like see his arm and like a little bit of his leg. And I'm like, damn, I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look. Yeah. So I put my finger in the curtain, and as I open it up, a young woman, I think it was his handler or whatever else, kind of talks to him in Spanish and tells him to turn around, right? And look at me. And he looks at me and he's like, yeah, let's go. And I shook his hand. I was like, come on, man, let's do it.
Amazing.
That was probably the most amazing moment. Bad Bunny, 5 minutes before he was going out on stage, and how cool he was, the niceness in his eyes, right? I was a little worried he's going to be like, oh, you're annoying. I'm about to perform. Don't distract me. Right. It was the exact opposite.
That's the best.
Right? And so that was probably the coolest story of the whole day right there, man.
God, do you have a stories for a lifetime?
It was pretty good. And I didn't even get into the football stuff that I want to talk about as we get into football here, because there was some pregame warm-up football stuff that I definitely want to hit on as well here.
Well, so the feeling of the field, I kind of want to start with.
Yeah.
Did you like confidence levels get a feel?
I did.
Okay,
Totally.
because I always find that the most interesting, going back to playing sports to being around professional sports.
Right.
Like, there's always a feeling on the field at every level, but this is the Super Bowl. This is above anything else. You've had 2 weeks of it on your mind.
Right. Both teams think they're awesome.
Right.
Usually,
But New England definitely knew they were underdogs.
I think so.
They definitely knew. What was the feel from each side?
I think you could feel that on the field. You felt like the energy on the field was Seattle was way greater than what you felt on the New England side. In fact, I saw Seattle without the pads on, and I was like, they're excited, right? New England was kind of quiet and cool on that side without the pads. The pads came on, it was like, whoa, Seattle's crazy. You went down to New England and you were a little bit like, oh, they're kind of subdued. But you're also like, this is New England. And, you know, maybe they're a little like that as an organization anyway.
They won a lot of Super Bowls that way.
But my real feeling, and what I walked down after being around New England and then walking back to the Seattle side, and I saw Rodney and Devin. I just went, man, the energy on the field is like Seattle knows they're about to whoop ass and they're the better team. And New England's kind of like, I hope we can play our best game today and maybe win the game. That's what you felt, right? And I said it to Rodney and Devin, and Rodney was like, I'm a little worried about Seattle. You know, they're spending so much energy out here.
Sure.
And I went, they're so young. This isn't, I said, this isn't one of your teams, Rodney, with New England that was veteran with you and Vrabel and Brewski and Brady and all that, right? This is a team that's like full of 23 and 24. Like Devin Witherspoon has not going to run out of energy if he didn't sleep for 4 days on a day like that, right? They have a lot of guys like that. So, yes, that was palpable being there. The other thing I took away from pregame, and I wish I got to say this on the pregame show, Drake Maye throwing the football. I didn't know the extent of the shoulder thing. But I came away talking to people in our group, Dungy, Jason Garrett. I said, man, Drake Maye was very careful throwing the ball. Now, I took it as you've heard me talk about his segmented throwing. I thought he was really focusing on just being one nice, smooth, flowing motion, right? Instead of that, I start my motion, I stop, and then I restarted. That segment and throw that I didn't love coming out of North Carolina.
I remember that,
So I thought he was like just really trying to focus on that. But I went down and talked to the guys, and I was like, hey, Drake Maye threw it good, but it was really slow and deliberate. Like no urgency in the drop, no urgency in anything to where you go, wait, you're getting ready to play a game here. You got to get the feet popping and moving a little bit. So that was something I did notice. Those are my early, before the game gleams. And then, of course, some of that carries over to the actual game we watched.
When you warmed up, when you played, what percentage were you at, like full throttle throwing? Like 70?
Well, I think at first I am, but I was going to make sure at some point I was going to get a few 98, 100% throws where I was going to go like, hey, I'm going to drop back and move and pop. Like, oh, man, I got to get ready for Julius Peppers, and he's going to be around me today. So I need to have at least a little bit of like, let me react and really throw a ball. So maybe as we got towards the end of pregame when the team gets together or it's 7-on-7, I would start to go, wait, I'm going to drop back for real here, and I'm going to rip this 20-yard comeback like I'm throwing to a tight corner, just so I could have a few of those reps instead of just, you know, the early part, you're just getting relaxed. Let me get a feel for the ball. Let me get in rhythm. Let me handle my nerves for the day and all that. But I do think at some point you got to turn the corner and go, all right, it's time to step on the pedal.
And the Super Bowl is usually a relatively controlled environment, but I'm sure sometimes too, like what's the wind like today? What's the feel out here? How's the ball cutting through the air?
Exactly right. You get all of that. You know, you're getting used to the grass, and is it going to hold up? Can I really plant hard? All of those things go into it. But I do think at some point you got to play some real reps, and I did not see that a whole lot from Drake Maye.
So one last film room for this season.
I know.
Super Bowl 60, a little bittersweet.
It is.
In some ways.
It's
we love
sad.
turning the page to the offseason, but at the same time, it's like, I was sitting there and I was like, man, this is really it.
It's the greatest and saddest day of the year.
It truly is.
It really is.
The Seahawks beat the Patriots 29-13. As you all know, New England's offense against Seattle's defense, Chris, the story of the game. Let's show the notebook right away. You sent over a lot of notes, but this was what really, really jumped out.
Sorry, I was writing a little fast.
I think I got this, though.
Right,
the story going into the game was the almost MVP quarterback was historically bad in the playoffs, and the top 5 left tackle was also historically bad.
Yeah, that to me was the theme of the game. I tried to say that during the show last week, right? I mean, that was the thing that, you know, I certainly tried to harp on it in the first segment. I was in on the boat in the pregame a little bit, that it was odd. We're going in, and Sam Darnold's supposed to be the career journeyman, and he's going in with the hot hand feeling confident, and the guy that was 1 vote away from being the MVP has been really bad, out of sync, not throwing the ball well, been bad in the pocket, has not taken care of the football. and we're going to the Super Bowl with that. And so those were the themes of going into the game. And unfortunately for the New England Patriots, as we got to halftime, that was the theme of halftime. I mean, that really was. And there's so much to unpack here about a lot of different things, really. But, yes, I think if I just had to expand on that broad topic right there, the left tackle in the first half, it was not good. It actually got worse in the second half, really. That wasn't good. And then Drake Maye, the quarterback, really made one real throw the whole first half where he stepped in the pocket and hit a deep curl to Stephon Diggs. That was like the only throw of the first half. And in fact, that we got to the fourth quarter of the football game, and you saw my notes where I went, wait, it's the fourth quarter. It's the one vote away from being the MVP. And I will say clearly again, I don't think it should have been as close as it was. I'm just going to state that one more time. But we got in the fourth quarter, and the almost MVP still only had what I would say one real quarterback throw the whole game. And that's astounding. Yeah. That's astounding in the 2025-2026 NFL.
I mean, the numbers speak to that.
Right.
The first three quarters tell the real story of the game.
Yes.
He was 8 of 18.
The stats lie the whole game.
For 60 yards, 3.3 yards per attempt. He took 5 sacks.
Yes.
You know, the fourth quarter where things opened up and they were down 12-plus points during all of this, he was 19 of 25 for 235 yards. But the game was over.
Yes, the stats. This is where you can't pay attention to numbers.
Right.
This is where numbers lie at times. You look at the numbers and you go, oh, Drake Maye almost played as good as Sam Darnold. And I would sit there and go and watch the film and go, it's not even close. No, Sam Darnold played at a way higher level than Drake Maye did in the football game. Now, there's a lot of things that go into that, right? And I think, first off, when you watch the film, you just go, oh, my gosh, the speed of the Seahawks front seven is astounding.
Right.
And the Patriots had trouble adjusting to it, whether it was the linebackers or the defensive line, the movement, whatever else. Trying to get linemen to get to the second level in the linebackers. By the time the linemen got there, the linebackers were already in the hole making the tackle, right? So that's what you saw right away. You know, the ability to stop the run with 2 deep safeties for the majority of the football game, right? And then to have the tactical chances of the blitzes, which I would go, they weren't really tactical chances. They kind of had a feel, I think, for how the Patriots did things. I think they had an incredible feel for the Patriots snap count, which we'll get into. And I think they looked at it and go, yeah, this blitz might seem a little risky, but really we're still playing 2 deep behind it, and we kind of know where they might go with the football, so we got people in the areas where they're trying to attack. So that was a great advantage for the Seattle Seahawks and what they did there, right? You know, I think all in all, the game was boring to most people out there because the Seahawks knew they were better, and they were like, we're going to play, we're not taking chances on either side of the ball. And then I think the Patriots went into the game going, we know we're not better, and we have to play a certain style here, or we have no chance of winning this game. So I think they went into the game playing, we're going to run the ball, eat the clock up, make the game ugly and slow. We're going to be really bland on offense because, one, we've been simple for the most part of the year anyways.
Got us here.
But we've been able to run the ball, and that's still been able to open up things in the pass game, right? But now they weren't able to run the ball at all. And now I think they had to throw the ball more than they wanted to. And then on top of that, right, they tried to play the muck it up, ugly, chewed up the clock game. And then they went on the other side of the ball, and we're going to break that down, but I just want to give an encapsulation of the whole thing. Their defense took crazy chances because I think they knew their defense had to win the football game.
Right.
Like, let's see if we can rattle Sam Darnold, get a few short fields for our offense, and make the game ugly, and we'll chew up clock, and we can win the game 17-14, 13-10, 16-30. I think that's the way the Patriots win in the game. But then the not being able to run the ball at all kind of changed how they had approached stuff to a degree.
The 2 things that stood out to me off of what you just said. Right. One, from the first drive, New England's defense was trying to jump routes.
Yes.
Like, they weren't even in the mold of, like, stay in phase and maybe play the ball. They were like,
Go for it.
I'm going for the ball.
Right.
If I miss and he catches it, he's going to get upfield, but we don't care.
No
and
doubt.
I have no problem with that.
No, like, I don't either.
It almost works.
It did almost work. Right. They were this close on a number of plays.
The Barner throw on the first drive, I was like, oh boy.
He threw some out routes.
Yes.
I mean, he threw some tight window throws throughout. Sam Darnold actually made more high-level throws than I think I realized when I watched it back.
On tape?
Definitely. But to your point, no doubt. I was sitting there early on in the football game going, Seattle's got to take a shot down the field. They got to back them off.
Right.
Like, they're playing downhill. And to your point of what you're talking about, too, if you watch the All-22, you're going to go, damn, the safeties are 7 yards deep. I mean, they were literally going, we think they're going to be conservative. We think they're going to play a lot of 7 and 8 yard throws, and we're going to go for it and try to pick it off, to your point. No doubt about that. So, flipping it back a little bit to the Patriots offense there. The being able to running the football, Drake Maye being off, the left tackle being off. Then the disappointment for me and the Patriots fans, and that most of the stadium was Seahawks fans, which was crazy. I mean,
it was loud.
I certainly expected the Seahawks. I wasn't surprised they had more there. To the extent of which they had more there was astonishing. When I walked into the concourse that day, I literally went, is anybody here for the Patriots? It was all Seahawks.
Like 80-20?
80-20, easily.
Wow.
Easily. Right? I said at one point, I was like, it might be 90. It might be 9 out of every 10 fans. And so the one other thing that jumped out was the snap count. I mean, the Seahawks felt like they knew exactly, and maybe this is part of Devin Witherspoon saying they have tells or whatever else.
Yep.
But their ability to time the blitzes and then not show them, and then the Patriots not doing dummy fake snap counts and things like that to make the defense reveal its stuff, so the quarterback and center then can re-ID who to protect on some of these blitzes. They hurt the Patriots in a big way, and those were some early themes of the football game, no doubt about it.
So Witherspoon, after the game, to Sirius XM Radio, said that McDonald found a tell on their guards and tackles.
I know, right.
Which is, we might play that sound at some point.
Yeah.
But my second point, besides the Patriots jumping routes or trying to, was the way Seattle triggered downhill against the run was they didn't even give a shit if it was going to be play action.
No.
They were triggering downhill against the run. I'm like, I haven't seen a team do, maybe the Texans all year, I haven't seen a team trigger that fast. It was like, they are not going to let them run the ball. The only time it felt like New England really had like a little room when they got Henderson to the corner.
Yeah.
But it was the second half. They didn't get to it early enough. The A gap and B gap runs to Ramondre.
Yeah, no chance.
Smashed in the face behind the line of scrimmage.
No
it felt like
chance.
70% of the time.
Yeah, definitely. And some of that, again, this is where I watched the film. As I was watching the Patriots offensive film, right, I was probably about in the third quarter, I saw the quote on my phone about what Devin Witherspoon said.
Yep.
So I don't know what the tell is. I got to go back and really look. I was just trying to get a feel for the game and go over the game, right? So I don't know what that is. And I didn't have time to sit there and go, let me see if the guy's right pinky toe is a little shaded outside in a pass set, right? Because it's going to be something like that. It's going to be something very minimal that, somebody watching film is not going to know. It probably took the defensive line coach to go, whoa, all I watch is their offensive line for a week straight. I found something, right? So it's probably something there. But I think, again, to your point, yes, it felt like they got to play on their own terms, downhill, aggressive from the get-go. And then the fact of they're so explosive and quick on their defensive line, everybody, whoever's playing. And then off of that, the adjustments the Patriots had to do, and then the two linebackers, they basically just went, hey, you guys shoot the gap. If there's a hole, we're going to shoot through it too, and that should take care of everything. And they just played downhill that way. All of that, leads to, I think, snap count and maybe some tells about, the
certain run looks,
the run looks and how linemen stood or their technique during those plays. Certainly, it seems like the Seahawks had a little advantage in that department.
So there's a lot of nuance that goes into this, but we have to ask: isn't it odd that the MVP runner-up in year 2 of his career made the Super Bowl? And it feels like now after the playoffs, we have more concerns or questions.
Yes.
Now, admittedly, don't know everything health-wise.
Right.
They ran into a gauntlet of defenses. Yeah. No one's denying that. But it just feels like they totally hit a wall at some point. That, like, how much of it do you blame Drake Maye? Because I've seen people like, well, McDaniels didn't call enough screens. The offensive line gave him no help. People aren't open. It feels like the pie is just a little bit of everything.
Yeah, to me, it goes to everybody. It does. And a little bit of like what you said, they've played this way the whole year. This is where I've argued that Drake Maye should have not been the MVP because the Rams played through Matthew Stafford.
Sure.
The Patriots were not playing through Drake Maye at any point this year. They played team football, run the ball, defense, run the ball, defense. Oh, they're overdoing the run. Here goes a big throw down the field, right? That's worked for them. So, yeah, they didn't reinvent themselves that way when it came to the playoffs. And, yeah, it's shocking when it's they were one of the 4 or 5 highest scoring teams in football during the regular season. And then here they were in this game, and you were like, whoa, hey, they crossed midfield. Way to go, right? I mean, again, I think it says something, one, about the Seahawks and how special they are on that side of the ball. But 2, yes, this was a theme. I don't think it was made big enough deal. This is where I think the New England fan base and the Mafia took over the situation a little bit. That's why I called them the Boston Mafia, the New England Mafia. Not because I'm trying to be mean. They're an amazing, passionate fan base. When their guy's good, they just don't want to hear anything else other than he's the best, right? And it was like, yes, he's done a lot of good things. But the fact that in a year in an era where everybody is all about numbers, and then one guy's numbers were so astonishingly better than the other one, and we went, I don't want to listen to numbers now. I'm going to go to some other numbers and some other categories that I know nothing about. Yes. But there's a grading system from PFF here that see, I found a stat that says Drake Maye's better. See, he's better. So I think with all of that got hyped up a little too much, and then they also, in defending their guy, again, where I really appreciate the Boston fan base, but I don't think they were realistic about what went on in the playoffs. It was, the Chargers D's really good. The Houston D, the Denver D in the snowstorm. It was just like, do we hear ourselves? Because I know if there was other quarterbacks that played like that, they would not get those excuses. That wouldn't be a thing. Right? I mean, Josh Allen wouldn't get that excuse.
Not going into a Super Bowl.
Exactly right. Like so that's where it was odd. And then to your question, yeah, I think he's still gonna be really damn good. I don't doubt it.
Right.
But some of the mechanical issues throwing, they reared its ugly head the last few weeks of the season.
Want to jump into some? You cut out some plays that I'm really interested in to get into, because it wasn't all just him taking sacks or running for his life. There were some plays where it's like, it's just bad quarterback plays for a young quarterback.
There was, to make another broad statement, his pocket presence and where to move and do that was really bad. And then some of the throws, and again, I know his shoulder might have been banged up, but there also was, like I said, some mechanical issues to go with it, where I just go, man, some of the throws, they were all over the place. They gave their guy no chance at all. So which one we got here that we're about to pop up?
We're going to do 3 plays from the second half. This is the 3rd and 1 where he missed Mario Douglas, but this is when they're down now 12-0. The 3 plays we're going to show, they're basically starting to become in a drop back.
Yeah, they're getting stuck here because they're going, we're not going to run. We're wasting our time doing that. They're all over it. So here we are. It's a second or 3rd and 1. You see here, we got some man-to-man coverage here as far as what we got for the New England Patriots. So let's go to the next picture, Pete. You'll see here now. We got, this is like at first, and I forget what throw we got here. This is where I got
the misfire to Demario Douglas.
Demario Douglas on the left sideline. So we got man-to-man here on the left side, right? And he's looking at that, okay? So let's go to the next picture. You're going to see there. And, all right, so no, I'm wrong here. Let's rewind it and do it all again, okay? Rewind it and do it all again. Demario Douglas is crossing the screen. He's in the right now on the 46-yard line on the hash and right on top of the NFL logo, right where the L is, just go above. Okay? Yes, this is a egregiously bad missed throw. I'm sorry I had my throws mixed up, but you see the pocket, the protection's phenomenal here.
Right.
He's got nobody within 5 yards of him. Okay? So he's got time here. Now, let's go to the next picture here, Pete. You'll see here, again, the pocket is perfect. There's no need to really rush it. He could step up a little bit. But the one thing I'm seeing here is, one, his front foot is locking out a little bit. His leg is locking out. And you're going to see after the throw, his right leg goes way in front of his left leg, like he's pitching off a mound. That's not, quarterbacks don't do that. That's not real. And within this, you could see here, Demario Douglas is crossing the field, right? There's a guy in front of him, but his body language is that Demario Douglas is going to come out scot-free on the other side. So either wait for him to totally clear and throw a rifle and hit him in the chest, or just throw a little banana ball, right? That just kind of, you just lay into an area and let him catch it on the run and turn it upfield. So we get to that. Let's see the next picture there, Pete. And as you see here, it's not even close. I mean, we have to dive on the ground to get a hand on it to do it. And that, to me, was, yes, a little alarming and a theme of the football game of, not that the pocket presence was horrible here, but in this one where I would like to show you, I feel like he could have just even continued to maybe step up as he was delivering it and wait the guy clear. But regardless, the throw itself was not good. His feet weren't aligned in the proper place as far as where he was stepping to throw. His front leg locked out. When your front leg locks out, go back to me, Pete, because we don't need to show that anymore. When your front leg locks out, right, it goes into the ground like this, it usually makes you go like this instead of just being around, because you've jammed that leg into the ground. Now it makes the top of your body kind of tilt forward. The ball goes into the ground. He doesn't even give himself a chance. And, yeah, that was a moment in the game between the field position and only 12-0 where you're going, yes, they're losing, but 9-0, 12-0, you're going one
wild.
Play,
right?
And this could be 9-7 or 12-7. We go, okay, here come the Patriots, and they've done that a lot this year. And they just could not make that one play, and that was one that, was there to be had.
Yeah, it was, and that's a good highlight of Seattle, kind of just sticking to their zones.
Yes.
Like it looked like cover 3 and kind of take away the seam.
Yep, sorry. I know I had the plays mixed up there. But, yeah, exactly right. They just tactically played man-to-man here and there. And then when they did play man-to-man, you were like, oh, man, they're all over New England. They probably could have done it even more.
So we have another third quarter play. I think this is the next drive. This is on the 1st and 10. They're at their own 27. This was one, Chris, where he stares down the first read and takes yet another sack to start the drive.
Definitely. Well, and like to say he stares down the primary, right? So within this here, all right, we got 3 receivers to our left. The inside of the 3, I believe, is Stephon Diggs, okay?
Yep.
And he's going to run basically like a crossing route. You're supposed to kind of read it, crossing route to the guy, the middle of the 3 receivers is just going to run straight up the middle and split the safeties, and then you go to your in cut, right? Who's the outside of the receivers and the bottom one down here by Tariq Woolen, number 27. Well, what we're going to show here is, one, from the get-go, he stares at him the whole time.
Right.
The whole time, the in-cut. And the beauty of the play is, one, to get them primary open, you need to look at the other guys. It kind of helps create the windows, right? Instead of just going right over there and bringing the defense way over there, right? You look to your right and then to the middle, and that helps open the guy coming from your left, right? So let's go to the next picture, Pete. Now, you're going to see here, again, look at him. He's already staring him down. He's looking right at him, all right? The pocket's clean. He's good. Now, the thing you would like to do here, right, is at the top of the screen, Devin Witherspoon's on the 41-yard line. You can see Stephon Diggs in the middle of the field, his hands kind of up. Devin Witherspoon is flying over here. He's flying to us, to the bottom part of the screen. He's flying because he's looking at Drake Maye going, he's just staring over there.
He wanted to jump something.
Right, he wants to jump something.
He actually planted so hard downhill that he slips.
He slips, and if Drake Maye stays true to his read, he's going to go, oh, my gosh, he overran Stephon Diggs, and Diggs is wide open on the backside. But he's, again, hit the top of his drop, and the guy that he's supposed to throw to is not even close to where he needs to be ready to throw the football yet, because he's already looking at something he shouldn't be looking at. So that, of course, covers it. But let's go to the next picture here. And now, as you see here, look at Stephon Diggs, right? To where he's popped on the other side of Devin Witherspoon. There's nobody there, all right? And then within that, too, right, he kind of moves up and puts himself in the way of somebody kind of getting in where he steps to throw the football at the last second, which happened a lot in the football game. Step up. And it's like, no, you've stepped up now. You're in the spot. Just stay here and get in the throwing position. He would step up, and go into the back of his lineman or go into the pass rusher. And that was one of the bad things of the game. But here, another, again, just moment of looking flustered, staring down a receiver, not staying true to the offense there, and, of course, that hurt their football team.
And that's another play where Seattle, all the coverage, their eyes are on the quarterback.
Yes.
So as he's staring it down, they're just watching what he's going to do. It actually almost hurt them because, like you pointed out, Chris, Witherspoon, they're feeling themselves so much.
No doubt about it. They're going, we're shutting everything down.
He's like, I'm catching
now
this.
We're going to get a pick six. Exactly right.
Yeah.
That's what they're looking at. They're feeling it. They're feeling it. And then, of course, Drake Maye, who's being flustered and just wants to do the right thing and get something going, he's going, wait, this guy's been open all year. Let me just get over and get to him and get my eyes on him. And, of course, it didn't help him out. And then he didn't stay true to his reads on the offensive side of the ball either.
The last play we have is the first interception. This is with 8 minutes and 49 seconds left in the fourth quarter. New England's down 19-7. So this is kind of like a gotta-have-it drive.
Yeah, right.
The 2nd and 3, we're going to pull up the screenshots here from the New England 44, and we'll get to exactly what. It's 2nd and 3.
Yep.
They're at the 44. It's the fourth quarter, 8:49. So this was the first pick. And this is where, once again, if you saw Julian Love mic'd up, there was a couple of times where he was like, this is a young quarterback that's hesitating.
Totally hesitating, not sure what he's doing, right? Here's going to be the perfect example. Again, this is a play that everybody has in their playbook. It's in cut with post over the top. Okay, so he's sitting here. The receiver at the very bottom of the screen is going to run the post. The receiver at the top, or the in cut. I'm sorry, the receiver on the bottom of the screen is going to run the in cut. The receiver on the top of the screen is going to run the post route. Okay, now let's go to the next picture. You're going to see here he's got good pass protection. Okay, and this again is going to be another one of those plays where I go, he steps up into the pocket way too aggressively and strong to where he actually puts himself in harm's way. And I do think that itself might have affected the throw altogether, but I also am not exactly sure what he was throwing this ball or where. He threw the ball to the guy on the top of the screen, Kyle Williams, who's running a post. But it almost looks like he thought he was running the in cut and maybe the post was on the other side, right? Do you know what I mean? I mean, you're watching it right now as we talk about it.
The ball isn't near
I'm not even sure what exactly he's doing. But go to the next picture here, okay? And now you're seeing he's running up in the pocket, and he didn't need to go up as aggressively as he did. Just shuffle up, okay? And within this, Kyle Williams is going to pop open, and if he wanted to throw a ball down the bottom here towards the bottom of the hashes, there's the bottom of Super and the Super Bowl logo there and all that across the field, he might have had a chance. But as we go to the next picture here, you're going to see he's letting it go. And look, he's stepped up in the pocket now where he literally has his own offensive lineman in his lap, right? So he can't even get a full follow-through here. And as you can see here, Kyle Williams, if he runs towards us on this part of the screen, he's going to pop open over here. But go to the next picture, you'll see Drake Maye airmails it. Ball off target, again, which is also the other, not only the off-target throwing, but the off-target moving in the pocket adds to the off-target throwing, and it was just an off day altogether for Drake Maye. This was one of a handful of throws and plays where you just go, man, you're too good to be that far off target or miss that throw. He had a play early in the third quarter where he had Demario Douglas, you might remember it, man-to-man, and he tries to throw him a back shoulder fade. And, I mean, he doesn't even give him a chance to catch the ball, right? Has the go route at the end of the second quarter where the ball falls 4 or 5 yards out of bounds, right? It's just, there was plays like that. Again, I found it astounding that we were at the start of the fourth quarter, it was 19-0, and the guy that was one vote away from being the MVP had not really made more than one real throw in the football game. That's amazing to say in the Super Bowl. That really is. And again, I'm not trying to put it all on Drake Maye. It's a team thing here, but I do think it speaks to how dominant the Seahawks were and how off-kilter Drake Maye and this passing offense really were throughout the playoffs.
Well, let's get away from the Drake Maye combo then and talk about the O-line.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't pretty either.
No.
It was honestly probably a bigger story coming into this game than Drake Maye himself.
Yes.
It felt like everybody was comfortable going, well, Drake Maye might be a little banged up. He's run to a gauntlet of defenses.
Right.
Vrabel and McDaniels, they know how to play to win. And listen, I ate that up. It was like, why would New England want to go outside that comfort? But the offensive line, the narrative coming into this game was different.
Yes.
The narrative was, can Will Campbell play left tackle?
Yep.
Is he healthy?
Right.
Will the interior be able to hold up against the great Seattle defensive tackles, specifically the left side, because they have another rookie there in Jared
two
Wilson.
rookies on the left. Right.
And it probably went about as bad as anybody could have imagined. There's just no other way around it.
No. And I think, I think they probably thought they'd be able to run the ball to calm them down and calm the aggressiveness down a little bit. So that didn't help. And then I think the other thing is, they got into we have to pass the ball too much. We're in big passing situations where, Josh McDaniels, if he can keep you 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 3, he'll keep you honest. You don't know if a pass is coming. He'll run the ball just as equally as he'll throw the football.
Look at the 3rd and 1.
Exactly right.
We just showed
exactly right.
3rd and 1.
Right. Exactly right. So he's not afraid to do some different stuff. But that's where I get into not only the talent of the defense, the not being able to run the ball, the concerns you're talking about the guys up front, but then the snap count thing too. I do. The fact that the Seahawks literally every time it was a pass play got to hit it perfectly on the run, whether it was a blitz or just guy putting his hand on the ground and getting a good jump, I thought was a key under the radar factor of the football game. There's just so many plays where Drake Maye points the guy out and he lifts his leg and the center does a little head bob and snaps it, and it's like, yeah. But they've seen it a few times now. They got it timed out, guys, right? And I just was a little shocked at one, there wasn't maybe some more max protection from the Patriots a little bit. Let's help Will Campbell out. Let's keep a tight end over there and do that more, right?
He was on an island a lot.
He was on an island a lot, which I think was surprising to me. And that'd be, if you ask me one thing that I would say that I think Josh McDaniels should have done a little differently, is I would have helped him out early on in the football game. One, to help him out and make him feel good a little bit, get him in a good groove, and then have your quarterback be like, okay, I don't have to peek over my left shoulder all the time, right? Those are two things that jumped out to me that if I ever talked to Josh, I'd go, I think that's the only thing you messed up in the game, really. Should have helped that out a little bit. And then the dummy snap counts. The fact that they just didn't have a fake silent count just to, one, again, give you, the great thing about the dummy snap count or the fake silent snap count or whatever is you get tells. Oh, wait, I saw Witherspoon. He couldn't help it. He got jumpy.
Right.
He's coming. All right, hold on. Check. Hey, Mike 51. Now the back's got Witherspoon. Okay. Or even the defensive linemen, they start to move like, I have to slant over here, right? And now set hot or fake snap count. And the O-line sees that and they go, oh, okay, he's about to go this way. So now I'm ready for that. None of those advantages were given to Drake Maye or the Patriots offense. And, of course, that was tough sledding against these freaks of nature in Seattle.
The Witherspoon blitz specifically, they were just spamming it at will, and it felt like the success rate of it was out of this world.
I think at first they were like, let's do it every now and then.
Yes.
And then they started to realize, like, they don't know how to pick it up. And we know where they're going in their routes. So we're good. We're covering.
We don't need them on the back end.
Even though we have less people in the coverage, we're good. It doesn't matter. We're winning by getting to him, right? And I think as the game went on, they started to realize that. And that's why, they probably blitzed more in this game than they normally do, I would think, honestly.
So they had a 52.8% pressure rate. Right. That was the highest of any defenses postseason, which isn't shocking. When you're overfit. But they only blitzed on 13.2% of the plays. That was the third lowest of any defense this season. My take on your thought is we felt that way because every blitz worked.
Right. I think
we were like, God, they're being aggressive. But it's like, no, it's just that when a blitz doesn't work, you sometimes don't even notice the fifth man because it looks so pretty when a 5-man picks up 5-man.
Yeah, you're right.
But when a 5-man doesn't pick up the guy at all and he has a free lane, it's like, whoa.
No, you're right. And I think I'm probably taking pressure into account and maybe a few plays where they blitz the guy and drop the guy
That's
out.
That's a great point because that does not count.
Right. So there's a little bit of that there too. But regardless, it was a butt whooping from that side of the ball to where – they're going to be mad they let up 14 points in that football game, right?
Witherspoon was after the game.
I get it because they were on track, rightly so, to be like, hey, we're going to be the first defense to get a Super Bowl shutout. Then they let the touchdown up. I was like, all right, they let up one score. They'll be okay with that. They're still one of the best Super Bowl defenses ever. But to let up the second, that kind of took the shine off of everything, even though it was a lot more dominant than even the stats or the scoreboard showed.
To your point about the simulated pressures, the 4-man drop one, over 36%.
Okay, so that's what it is. Right.
Yep.
There you go. Right.
And over 63% of their blitzes was the slot corner blitz.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So they weren't even like...
No.
It was just the same thing.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
Yeah. They felt like they had it. They knew what they were going to do. And then the fact that they were able to, for the most part, play shell 2-deep coverages behind those blitzes, that made them feel warm and cozy about, hey, we're not going to let up a big play nonetheless. And, of course, it worked all day long.
So after the game, not immediately, but, this week, Mike Vrabel on Will Campbell said, he's our left tackle. Yeah. We're not moving Will to guard or center or tight end or anywhere else. I mean, obviously, we want to give a vote of confidence. This was the 4th overall pick in the draft, by the way, too. Like, not to pick on Will Campbell, but this is a huge story for a reason. This has led to a lot of discourse after this game.
Right.
there are a lot of people out there that are saying it's not the arm length, it's the technique, whether it's he's not comfortable in his pass set, getting his base under him, his hands are late, on and on it goes. My counter to that, Chris, and this could mean I didn't play offensive line, I didn't play in the NFL, but wouldn't you say that sometimes it's great to have physical gifts at offensive tackle to fall back on when you're growing technically as a player?
Definitely.
I mean, that's where part of the evals.
Exactly right. I mean, we have Orlando Brown. He's our de facto expert offensive lineman. His technique's not always perfect.
He's a large man,
but he's so freaking big and long arms and whatever else that when technique's not good, he can still got something else to lean on to go, oh, I got away with it there, right? That's what we're talking about. Some of the things we saw with Will Campbell are a little bit like what I just said with Drake Maye. Some of the things that you saw at LSU that were a little concerning, right? Now, I do take it. I think he was not 100% in the football game.
Right.
And we weren't talking about nearly these concerns in the middle part of the year when he was healthy before he got hurt, right? It wasn't perfect, but we wasn't getting beat like we saw at the end of the year. So, I do think it's a little bit of a perfect storm of young player who got hurt, and then he's not hitting on all cylinders and playing his best ball because he hasn't played in a while. And then he's thrusted into the toughest part of the year, right? Because they had an easy schedule. Toughest part of the year, playoffs, and some of the best defenses in the sport. It was like a double whammy. I do think he could still play left tackle. I do. But am I sold that that's still the best spot for him? No. And am I sold that he'll definitely stay there? No. If something presented itself this offseason where they were like, wait, we know this guy could really be a left tackle, and now we can move Will Campbell to guard, which I would say 9 out of every 10 people in the NFL, and I think you would second me that, would have said we think Will Campbell's best at guard, right?
Coming on the how I evaluate him.
I mean,
I did not rank him as a tackle.
And forget, you and me. It doesn't, like, coaches, friends I know, they were all like, I think he's better at guard, right? Better at guard. Yeah, he can do tackle, but I think he's a guard. I think he's a guard. That was what you got in the NFL. So they tried to make it work here, and it might work. But, Anchor was never real special at LSU. And then the arm length thing that he's getting made fun of for, right? Again, it's not an end-all, be-all. We know there's been some tackles that have worked out with shorter arms.
Rashawn Slater.
Right.
There's a lot of them.
But, there is tangible evidence that it certainly helps, and you can't discard it. There's tangible evidence on arm length from a pass rusher or a left tackle that is a key to being successful. There's very few and far between who are under the thresholds of what NFL deems as long arms that are really successful. There's a few. There's some outliers, like you said, Rashawn Slater. Every now and then someone comes about. But for the most part, your top-notch ones, offensive tackle or pass rusher, have incredibly long arms. It's a great advantage to have to be able to strike and not get one of these big guys into your body, and you can keep them at arm's length, literally, and then control them and move them that way. So that's a real thing. That's not just numbers and mumbo-jumbo talk, right?
And I think the positive side of it is, because I'm already writing mock drafts for NBC.
Yeah, I know you are.
Is I had them take a left tackle, a guy that could probably play both sides. And my argument was, they might upgrade at 2 spots then. Will Campbell might be an upgrade for you at left guard.
Yes.
And then you can get a true left tackle. So, because people are very sensitive about this, and I understand it.
Yeah.
Will Campbell, like you said, might end up being just fine at tackle in this league and deserves a chance to develop. But the flip side of it is, wow, he might be a damn good left guard. We know we could do as a run blocker. There's no denying that.
There's no doubt.
We might get a guy that's better in pass pro at tackle than him. And now our offensive line looks way, way better.
I
think people should be at least open-minded to it. I understand why Vrabel, the week after the couple
he
days,
just stick up for his guy right now.
He did the right thing. I totally understand that. But it's an interesting conversation, I think, at the minimum.
No doubt about it. And like I said, to your point, and I think we're both saying the same thing, I wouldn't be shocked if something presented itself where they went, wait, this guy's got prototypical left tackle traits and he's a starter and whatever else, right? Then, maybe you do think about that. I am still a believer that, Will Campbell can work at left tackle, but I think he'd still be a better guard when it's all said and done.
Maybe the unsung hero in this game for the Seattle secondary, Josh Jobe.
Oh, my gosh.
Unbelievable.
Josh Jobe was phenomenal. Devin Witherspoon was phenomenal. Ernest Jones was phenomenal. The Patriots, Craig Woodson, if they don't have Craig Woodson at safety, they might have lost by 4 touchdowns. He makes some of the damnedest tackles where you go, oh, if he doesn't tackle him,
right,
he's gone, right? So Craig Woodson and Christian Gonzalez on the Patriots defense, wow, did they pop and play some of their best football, right? And real quick, we got at John Paul Prophet 307. Is the Seahawks defense a top 10 to 15 all time? I think it's about right there in that conversation.
That's a good frame,
right?
Yeah.
I think so, because I'm not going to put it up there with the Ravens of 2000s, the 85 Bears, the 2013 Seahawks, the 2015 Broncos. Right. Those teams were like, I think, a notch above, right? But I think after you get to those conversations there, you start to get to the Seattle team. They're in that next group below, right? Still some unbelievable, awesome defenses, but those ones that we mentioned there are pretty damn special. Let me see, the 78 Steelers. I mean, the 78 Steelers never let up a first quarter touchdown the whole year until
ridiculous.
The Super Bowl, right? I mean, those are special defenses. I think this is a notch below that.
The Seahawks offense. We've made it 50 minutes into our show. We haven't said a word about Sam Darnold, the MVP, Kenneth Walker.
Right.
Kenneth Walker was not only great in this game, but running outside the tackles, he was out of this world. This was the difference in the game.
Definitely.
I mean, his 21 rush attempts where he went outside the tackles, he averaged 5.4 yards a carry. His 6 inside runs, he averaged 3.5.
Devin McCourty and I's jaws were on the ground when the Patriots didn't set the edge on the outside in the run game a few times.
So unlike them.
One of the things that you learn from a Belichick, Parcells, Vrabel, whatever, this was like, to me, my biggest shock when I got with the New England, like Josh McDaniels in Denver or got to New England, how much they talk about setting the edge. They are some teams don't give a damn about the edge, right? Some teams just go get the ball, the ball. And then our corner will be there to, funnel everybody inside if you miss them defense end. The Patriots don't play that way. The Patriots for years have been guys like Vrabel and McGinnis and whatever else on the edge, and I got my outside arm free, and if you run outside, you're going to lose yards. That's the way it's going to be. But, yeah, that was shocking that happened a number of times. And then his Le'Veon Bell patience, right, to kind of come up and hop and really not be going full speed and then seeing the lane and going is the way you run against 2-gap defenses, right? I can't show you how many runs where, even some of the ones outside, where he sees the guy, he's hopping, he sees the guy engaged to go, I'm going to get in the hole and get there, and then he bounces out to where the guy was, right, after he made that move. Phenomenal that way. And again, I think the Seahawks played very conservative on offense. I think they knew maybe the way they were going to lose the game was if their offense messed it up. And of course, what we talked about, the Patriots played it super aggressive. Sam Darnold made some really high-level throws into some tight windows early on in the football game, throughout the football game. He missed some deep shots. There's no doubt about that. Should have had a touchdown before the half. That should have been slam dunked, and Jackson Smith and Jigba had Rashid Shaheed down the right sideline one time, overthrew it, right? But regardless, other than that, he played really good. And, they just physically won the line of scrimmage. And then Darnold's ability to make a few people miss when it could have been a negative play and got a positive play, or at least it wasn't a negative play in general, to me were sneaky key plays to the football game that people, kind of got overlooked a little bit.
Milton Williams couldn't believe it.
Right.
A couple times.
There was a choice of Milton Williams.
Could have killed him.
No doubt.
And Darnold slipped around him.
That were incredible. And, if some number of them led to completions that got them first downs in some big moments.
Joey Davis said, Sam Darnold looked like Tom Brady the way he was moving in the pocket and keeping his eyes down the field.
Yeah, well, this is something like Sam's getting really good at that. Sam's got some put it on a reel type plays in the playoffs where you just go, oh my gosh, look at him go through the reads and be in the perfect position. Oh, make a little move, boom, deliver the ball, right? I mean, he's really kind of what I tried to start the show with, to go, hey, Sam Darnold's feeling hot. The guy that almost won MVP is feeling cold.
Right.
And you saw that. I mean, you mentioned it to start the show. Some of the throws he made, you were like, whoa, I can't believe he just squeezed that in there or even threw that early on in the football game. But did it and had great control, and I think that spoke to the confidence he had going in this game.
I think the call of the game was the fourth quarter, 1st and 10 down in the red zone. New England is just selling out against the run.
Oh, right.
And Kubiak's like, I got them right where I want them. Play action, throw it over their heads to the tight end for the touchdown, right?
Play.
Or it was
right. It's A.J. Barner.
It was A.J.
Right.
Barner's touchdown. I mean, you look at the front New England's playing against that. there's one safety. The linebackers all sell it. Like, they were like, we have to start putting them in a negative script.
No
and
doubt.
Kubiak was like, this is it.
And they've seen that run like a few times already. It's zone running game. So they're like, damn, we've seen this, and he's been cutting back. We need to get in there, get in the hole, and start to disrupt something. That was a Kyle Shanahan special right there. Right. Barner releases between the tackle and the other tight end, makes it look like he's going to block the guy, and then just continues upfield. I can't remember what the linebacker was, but regardless, like, no chance. Perfect play at the perfect time, and the play that put the nail in the coffin for the football game, all in all.
Was it a little satisfying, the year of the don't take the points? The guy that took the points won the Super Bowl?
Yes.
It's something I don't see a ton of people talking about. I was sitting there watching, I'm like, he's going to kick the field goal every time.
Every time.
Jason Myers is going to make the field goal every time.
Every time.
And New England's going to look and be like, I think Collinsworth might have said this on the broadcast, and I totally agreed. If it got to 15-0, and instead it got to 19 to end the game.
Yeah.
But it felt like they knew if it got to 15, I don't think New England could have found any answer.
No,
so he just kept chipping away.
That's right.
In a year, nobody wanted to chip away.
Lean on him, choke on him, choke him out.
That's
choke
the
him
defensive
out.
head coach,
It's
though.
the defensive head coach, right? But yes, and two, like we talked about, they're the better team. Just keep lean on them. The more you play, the more it'll show you're the better football team. Don't give them some fake momentum or some hope that they can maybe pull off the upset. I thought it was the right approach, and refreshing. Simsalytics right there.
There you go.
The hell of the analytics. Simsalytics. Kick the damn field goal. Play some football. Trust your defense. I liked it a lot.
That's the Sims spreadsheet right there. The unsung hero, another one for Seattle. How about Michael Dixon? 7 punts, 47.3 yards net average. He had a couple that was just like laser pinpoint accuracy. He only allowed, there was one fair catch, 2 returns for 4 yards, and we know you got to keep Marcus Jones in the stadium. If he gets loose, you're in trouble.
That was one of the one things you looked at, of the football game at one point where you're just like, man, if Marcus Jones breaks one, maybe this game can get interesting. Right. But hey, one thing we got at Texas is kickers and punters.
Yes,
baby.
you do.
We got lots of that, and now, yes, he was phenomenal. You're right. Kind of the under the radar key to the football game. Kept the Patriots pinned in their own area. Again, field position, not going for it. Kick the field goal. Just make them feel like they're always the backs against the wall. And slowly but surely, things started to fall apart for the New England Patriots.
The last 2 shout-outs, you brought up Craig Woodson. The rookie safety was great this year, especially in this game. He had 10 tackles in this game, but Christian Gonzalez saved this from getting out of hand in the first half.
Definitely.
Like, he made 2 or 3 plays where, if he doesn't make those plays, they're smoked in the
post
first half.
route to Rashid Shaheed, right? The first one he made, where you went, oh my gosh, Sam really kind of threw it perfect. I mean, it was perfect coverage. And then the ball skills were incredible.
Insane dive.
And then the play at the end of the half, where, Darnold was late and threw it behind. Regardless, he had great recovery, knocked it down. It didn't happen. But Gonzalez was, without a doubt, him and Craig Woodson were 2 of the best defensive players on the football field, with a whole bunch of other Seattle Seahawks players too.
Any closing thoughts? Did we get it all out?
I think we got it all out. I mean, 58 minutes in, I think we got it all out.
And we did a good job. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we're back, we're still talking about the Seahawks, but it's Klint Kubiak because he's on his way to the Raiders to be their head coach with his shiny new Super Bowl ring. We're going to talk about where he ranks among the best offensive minds in football right after this.
What are your thoughts on Fernando Mendoza, and how big did that play into this decision for you?
Well, I think just the resources that the Raiders have, this building, obviously having cap space, having the first pick, those all go into the decision. And as far as who the first pick is going to be, we got a lot of tape to watch before we determine who that's going to be. But I'm excited to get into that process.
That's new Raiders coach Klint Kubiak. I haven't seen him without a hat on. I mean, he really looks like Kubiak.
Just like his dad.
It's wild.
I know.
It is wild.
It is.
Even kind of the same tone and delivery.
Definitely. Same voice that way. Yeah, same shaped face and head, all of that. And yeah, I'm happy for him. I mean, first off, the Kubiak family, they couldn't be better people, so it's always good to see good people get good things. He's worked hard, right, to get where he's at. He is one of the better offensive minds in the sport. Coming from the McVay-Shanahan tree, as we know, if you come from that tree and you have any success, you're going to be a head coach at some point. And then the other aspect that I just love about him and what we saw on Super Bowl Sunday is just like his dad, there's a toughness he brings to the offensive side of the ball, like Shanahan does, where it's a little bit like, no, we start with running the ball. I know we all look at all this sexy stuff, the screens and the passes and all that, but it starts with that. And I think the fact that it does that makes their team more physical on both sides of the ball, and of course is only going to help the quarterback out with throwing the ball when you can run it like that, like he does.
It's interesting to me because maybe now, since they won the Super Bowl and it was a good showing, play calling wise,
right?
He doesn't get the same PR to me as previous Shanahan and McVay tree guys do. Why do you think that is?
I would say so too, and I think a little bit about maybe the sexiness of their offense altogether this year, right? I don't think it really started to maybe take off in everybody's eyes in the public until after they lost that Rams game where he threw 4 interceptions. I think there's probably that. It's only been, 1 year of being like a guy that's a banner up there, offensive name, right? Where we saw Ben Johnson for 2 or 3 where we were like, oh, damn. We saw Shanahan with Houston and Washington for a number of years where we were like, damn, I mean, he doesn't have a head coaching job yet? I mean, it's the number 1 offense for a few years in Houston and then went to Washington. So I think that's probably part of it to a degree as well. But, yeah, he's got all the core values and things you would like as one of the top offensive minds in the sport. Now, where you want to rank him and put him in there, that's for debate. Am I going to put him there with Ben Johnson, Shanahan, McVay, even Mike McDaniel, Josh McDaniels? And I know that's a hot button topic right now. No. Just because it was one game with a whole bunch of issues, Josh McDaniels is still one of the best coordinators in the history of football and one of the best offensive minds of this century. Like, that's not debatable. But, yeah, I feel like he's probably the next group under those guys, right? If you had to put it that way. And we'll see. Again, he's still early, too, in his coaching career, to where I think he's going to continue to grow and add to his offense. And now he's going to have a quarterback that can do exactly what his offense wants. And that's where the Mendoza matchup with Klint Kubiak is a match made in heaven.
Real good.
Right.
Yeah.
Play action pass. Exactly right. And that's what Mendoza does.
It was funny when he was asked that, though. I was wondering in my head, I'm like, he's been so deep in it this season. I wonder how much of Fernando Mendoza he's even watched.
Right.
Like, I'm sure he watched the national title game because
I'm sure
we're
he's seen some
fans
TV
at
football.
Heart.
Right.
But this is somebody that was preparing for the Super Bowl. Wasn't sure if he was going to get a head coach. I heard early in the cycle, like, I don't know if Kubiak's going to get one of these jobs. That ended up being 10 jobs, so naturally he was going to get one, and well-earned. But I was like, I don't know how much Mendoza he's seen. I'm sure he's going to like him because he fits what he wants to do, like you said. But it is funny how people just kind of jump to that conclusion, like these guys aren't the busiest people on earth.
No, exactly right. And I think you're right. I doubt he's seen him at all. He certainly hasn't studied him at this point.
Exactly.
And none of these guys have. I mean, I talk to coach friends and all that and bring up players, and they go, oh, yeah, damn, is he that good? Right? When you talk like, hey, Arvell Reese at Ohio State, I had some people down at the Super Bowl and they were like, oh yeah, like it's like that? And I'm like, yeah, it's like that.
Right.
Like, no, I'm looking forward to diving in here. The NFL, they're just starting to dive into some of this draft stuff. And if you were coaching in the playoffs or the Super Bowl, you haven't dove in at all. So yeah, I think it's the match made in heaven. He's smart. He's going to be able to do all the systematical things that Kubiak wants in his offense. And then now you can start to frame your organization organization around somebody or something. And the quarterback, okay, is always the best way to frame the organization and get it really jump-started. I think that's been one of the problems with the Raiders. They haven't had that guy at quarterback they can really jump onto in a while, right? I think that if you look at the mistakes Josh McDaniels had as a head coach there, one of the things I would defend him with is the front office didn't get him a damn quarterback to kind of kick the organization in the direction of, hey, we got an offensive genius, and now we got the quarterback, and we all got something to look forward to. Instead, it was like, yeah, here's Jimmy Garoppolo and Aiden O'Connell. Oh, wow, that's exciting. So, yeah, I think, that's where there's the positives here. And the last thing on top of this whole Raider conversation is the Maxx Crosby thing.
Right.
Because I've heard people go, well, maybe they should trade the number 1 pick because they got a lot of holes to fill. No. They need the quarterback.
Take the quarterback.
We got to have the quarterback. They don't grow on trees. You got one. Let's build around that. That's how you bring up the whole organization like we're talking about. 2, the Maxx Crosby thing. Listen, I'm usually not one that goes trade your best players or do stuff like that. This might be one that I would think about. This might be one to where he's at a part of his career. He doesn't want to be a part of the rebuilding thing. He wants to go maybe somewhere else and be a part of a winner, right? And you're not a year away. I would think about it. I would think about it and go, damn. And I think they could get a haul for Maxx Crosby.
I think so too.
Like maybe Micah Parsons and more, because you're not having to give the $47 million a year contract out. I mean, he's making what, 36,
right,
somewhere in there? That's going to be a deal right now for pass rushers. And it's already done and in the books and all of that, which makes the trade more valuable for the Raiders. So that's going to be something certainly going to have my eye on in a big way here over the next few weeks.
His contract is very movable,
right?
By the way, if they trade him as a pre-June one, it only is $5 million in dead money for the Raiders. So, and they save $31 million in cap space. And every year, the structure of this contract is kind of mind-blowing for how good of a player he is. There's really not a lot of guaranteed. There's no guaranteed money after
He pretty much got all of it, right?
Yeah, it was all up front. So it's kind of pay as you go. And to your point, Chris, if they're not a year away, assuming Maxx Crosby is open to this, because that matters a lot here, and we don't know if he is. He's going to turn 29 before next season. It's not old.
No.
But it's not. Like the Jets just went through this with Quinn Williams.
Yeah.
Quinn Williams is a great player. You can't replace him. It's a tough decision. But by the time the Jets are even remotely competitive, Quinn Williams is going to be in his 30s.
Yeah, right.
So it's not a fun decision, but you do have to kind of, because if you wait out another year or two, that return might be 25% of what you're going to get.
Right.
Think of all the teams that need him right now. Right off the top of my head, the Bucks and Panthers.
Oh, they're
right at the top of my head.
There's no doubt. There's a lot.
There's more than that.
There definitely is.
But they're the ones where I'm like, they should move mountains to get Maxx Crosby.
Right. No. I think you make a lot of good points there. And
Patriots.
Just like we talked about arm lang, Patriots would make sense. Just like we talked about arm lang, there's tangible evidence too of defensive linemen, and when you hit the age of 30, that things don't continue to go upwards.
Right.
They might plateau or maybe slightly go upwards in some cases, but generally you start to plateau, and then at some point, 32, 33, it starts to go downhill.
Right.
So
unless you're Julius Peppers.
Right. There's every now and then there's a freak of nature.
He's the only one ever.
Right.
So.
There's a few freak of natures out there, but that's where I look at it, and within my football experience, knowledge, knowing how people work, how the league works, I feel like it's unusual that we talk about that type of player maybe being traded, but it's one where you start to go, oh, it kind of makes sense. It can make sense for both parties here, and I think that's why it's going to be a big hot topic here the next few weeks.
We're going to take one more break. When we're back, we got the nominees for the Homies Choice Awards. You could vote on this. Right now.
Homies. Oh, yeah. It's draft season. Read Connor Rogers' first mock draft. It's one of 300 mock drafts for him to do here in the next 3 months. Get ready. But it's all there. Connor, you're one of the best in the game at the draft. Man. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to you kind of coaching me up and getting me to speed on some of these guys. Yep. And we're going to dominate the podcast draft conversation this year. That I know. But check this out at NBCSports.com/NFL draft. All things Connor Rogers will be there. Mendoza to the Raiders right off the bat.
Free bingo space.
And I feel you with the Steelers and landing Ty Simpson. I said that today on PFT. I certainly could see that.
Makes sense.
Even if they have Rodgers back.
Perfect.
And that's where I want to be like, if they're going to have Rodgers back, they got to tell him that. They got to tell him that. Because, it's just going to cause problems. And then within Rodgers, he's got to know that if he does come back and they draft Ty Simpson and you go 2-5 to start the year, you might get benched for Ty Simpson. Right. So we'll see where that goes. But I see your initial connecting of dots there, and I like it.
It's early, but you could always kind of feel out certain ones that just make way too much sense. We'll see if he makes it there.
Yeah.
I think teams, when they get in front of Ty Simpson or he gets in front of them, are really going to like him.
And then when they dissect a little bit, especially the first 8 or 9 games of the year, they're going to go, holy shit, I didn't realize he made this many plays and throws. Right.
The Homies Choice Awards. This is where the homies get to vote. You don't have to have an MVP vote like Chris to get involved in this, or an All-Pro or all the Hall of Fame stuff. It's simple as this. We're going to tweet out a link, and you can vote on all of these season-long awards that include the playoffs. MVP, to kick things off, no surprise, Matthew Stafford, Drake Maye, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, listen, I think those are the 5 right there, certainly. I'm probably one that would take Christian McCaffrey off and put Myles Garrett in the MVP conversation, right? I gave Myles, but okay.
Pete says we're going to do it.
We're going to add him.
Yeah, sorry, CMC, you're out. Myles Garrett, you're in.
But I voted for Matthew Stafford in this, but I would be interested to see, what the homies out there think of the whole MVP conversation.
Offensive Player of the Year, we get Christian McCaffrey back in, Bijan Robinson, James Cook, Puka Nacua, and the man who won this award already, Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. And I think, again, would I be mad at the homies if they took Bijan Robinson here?
Crazy.
No, I mean, I voted for Bijan Robinson. Yeah. So, I don't think it's totally crazy here to have him win this award.
Defensive Player of the Year, who's got this one? Myles Garrett's at the top. Will Anderson Jr., great season. Danielle Hunter just keeps chugging along.
Yep.
He's one of the only guys that does kind of get better. Like one of the only ones I've ever seen where I'm like, Danielle Hunter's in his 30s, and he looks better than when he was 24.
No doubt. And added to that, the longest freaking arms you'll ever see in your life.
It matters. It helps a little bit when you get off the ball and you got long arms. Nick Benito and Micah Parsons, who had the injury. That is a really strong group. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jackson Dart, Tyler Shuck, Teteroa McMillan, Travion Henderson, and shout out to one of the big uglies, Gray Zabel, Super Bowl champion Gray Zabel.
Yeah, he definitely deserves it. Now, I'm going to say something about this one here, right? I know Teteroa McMillan won this one. And I'm okay with that. Okay. But I will say, I was a little shocked that Jackson Dart wasn't a little closer. I mean, Jackson Dart was the biggest thing in the NFL for 10 weeks. Right. That's where we become a little too recency biased. We're literally for a bunch of weeks, the Giants are back. He's making magic. Oh, my gosh. And he played phenomenal and really was the talk of the league for a number of weeks. And for him only to get one vote as the quarterback of the New York Giants, I actually was shocked by that. I really was. I mean, I would have had that much closer than what it looked like on the ending voting tally there.
Well, that's what I love about the Homies Choice Awards is that I finally do have a vote. I would vote for Dart.
You would vote for Dart?
Yeah. I was surprised. I didn't realize how insulated we are in the Northeast sometimes. Right. I did another show, and we graded all of the rookies' performances, and I made a promise. I was like, I'm only going to give out for the first round.
Right.
1 A+. Right. Because if you give out a lot of A+, it starts to not mean anything.
Yeah, sure.
My only A+ went to Dart, and I combined value, how important the position you play, everything.
Sure.
But I thought Dart was that good this year.
I agree.
That good.
I agree.
And then when people were reacting really, your 1 A+ is Dart, I was like, oh, people outside of the Northeast aren't as in as we are.
No.
And the Giants weren't good.
No, that's right. They never made it to the national market, big media games and all that.
There was a stretch there where, like, before the trade deadline, I'm like, he's so good, they might make a move at the deadline to try to sneak into the playoffs.
They were thinking about it.
And
They
it
were
just
thinking
didn't
about
work out for
it.
them.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think there was haters on Jackson Dart.
Absolutely.
There's people out there that don't like that he's just cocky or he dresses cool or whatever else. And, again, that's where that shit's got to stop, judging people like that. Because, again, it's like, I guarantee they don't like him because he's cocky, but then I'll find another favorite player they have who's cocky as hell, and that one's okay. And that's what I don't love about it. But, yeah, I was shocked by that. I did not think Teteroa McMillan should have ran away with that award like he did.
Defensive Rookie of the Year, Carson Schlesinger. Of course, a monster year under Jim Schwartz for that Browns defense. Nick Emanwari, Super Bowl champion. Craig Woodson, the underappreciated Craig Woodson.
No doubt.
And Xavier Watts. I'll say this. I asked Bijan Robinson on Radio Row about the big defensive class they had. Unfortunately, this was before the James Pierce stuff happened. But just about how the 4 guys were.
Right.
He spoke the most glowingly about Watts.
Well, I can
When
see
you would
it.
think like Jalen Walker, Pierce's season, even Billy Bowman. But he's like, dude, Watts made plays in camp where we were looking around like, this guy is brilliant.
Watts' ball skills are amazing. And I think the thing that was even better than I expected is his aggression and tackling was better than what I saw at Notre Dame. And, that's a damn good group right there. I mean, you're talking about, that's 4 ballers that are rookie defensive players right there. Yeah.
Coach of the Year, Mike Vrabel.
Variable?
Variable?
Like, how does that happen?
Dude, there's been some bad ones.
That and the Jackson Smith and Jigba at the NFL honors. Like,
it
are
kind
you
of make
kidding
it kind of makes a mockery of the whole thing, and
It
that
totally
just kind of
does.
bums me out.
It
Not to be
does.
like old man yelling at a cloud.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be old man yelling at the cloud. I don't give a shit. I'm going to tell you. Yeah, between the Hall of Fame and that crap at the NFL honors, the NFL's got to buckle up their game a little bit. Like, they're worried about, like, respecting and everything in the world, and you're disrespecting the damn people in your sport. We can't say their names in an award show? That's crazy.
I'm with you all the way, and I'm glad you called that out. Mike McDonald, the Super Bowl champion coach, Sean Payton, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, and Ben Johnson, who ironically has the worst record out of all these guys and might be my vote.
I hear you. It's an amazing one. I'll be interested to see how many people change with just the Mike McDonald won the Super Bowl and he's the coach of the year
That's
now.
fair.
Right? I'll be interested
that's
to
tough.
see.
The Robin Hood underrated player of the year. This is a awesome group to go through. Miami center, Aaron Brewer. Of course, the very undersized but incredible center.
Yep.
Denver's Zach Allen.
Yep.
The Chargers' Tuli Tuipulotu, their edge rusher, who nobody feels like knows and constantly makes plays. And then Jordan Brooks, Chris, who you always say, like, man, Jordan Brooks.
Man, you give me any linebacker on 2nd and 2 or 2nd and 4 or less in football, I'm taking Jordan Brooks.
Did we miss anyone?
You know who's the one? Here's one. Kalen Bullock, I think, of the Texans.
Right.
I think is one of the best free safeties in football that no one's given quite love to. I don't think Marcus Jones, the nickelback for the Patriots, I don't think people realize that he's definitely one of the 2 or 3 best nickelbacks in the sport.
I like that one.
Right? So those would be 2 that at least jump out to me.
The damn okay quarterback performance of the year. Sam Darnold in the AFC Championship game where he was phenomenal. Matthew Stafford also in the NFC Championship game. Those guys went toe-to-toe. Matthew Stafford, Week 16 against the Super Bowl champion Seahawks. He threw for 457 yards and 3 touchdowns. Trevor Lawrence against the Jets, which I don't know how much that one matters, but he threw 6 touchdowns. Josh Allen against the Bucks, who threw for over 300 yards, ran for 40, and had 6 total touchdowns. And Bryce Young, who threw for 448 against the Falcons in Week 11. That was
like kind of the one of the first. Oh my gosh, Bryce Young balling, just carving a defense up. Right, that was special. I think the ones that jump out to me on that list are the Week 16 Matthew Stafford in a losing effort. Right, because he was phenomenal in that football game. That Josh Allen Tampa Bay game, I had forgotten about it until I saw it here. And I do remember after that game going, oh, my gosh, how many unreal plays did he make in that football game? That was an incredible performance.
The damn okay offensive performance of the year, of course, MVP of the Super Bowl, Kenneth Walker, going for 135 rushing yards. Puka Nacua against Seattle in Week 16 had 225 receiving yards. Jamar Chase, of course, against that Steelers team in Week 7 had 161. That was with Flacco, wasn't it?
Yeah, the 16 catches. Yes,
yeah, 16 catches. That was with Flacco.
Him.
We were like, oh boy, the Bengals. Here they go again.
Exactly. I think it was Flacco's first or second game there with the football team.
Jonathan Taylor in Week 10 against Atlanta, the 244 rushing yard game. He walked it off in overtime. Rico Dowdle against his former team in Dallas when he had 183 rushing yards and 56 receiving yards. And then Bijan Robinson against the Bills in Week 6, 170 rushing yards, 68 receiving yards. This is a field where, like...
That's like, yeah, good luck. Have fun picking that.
I have no idea.
Those are unreal, all of them, no doubt about it. I mean, I got to think about that group right there because they're all phenomenal performances.
Our last one, the damn okay defensive performance of the year. Myles Garrett was so good, he's on it twice. Myles Garrett Week 8 against New England, 5 sacks. Myles Garrett Week 11 against Baltimore, 4 sacks. Isaiah Rodgers Week 3 against the Bengals, 2 forced fumbles, 1 pick, 2 defensive touchdowns.
Yes.
Greg, I feel like a lot of people don't even recall that one.
I know
it's probably the most underappreciated one.
Yeah, the Vikings not getting the playoffs, all that kind of hurt the stock of that one.
Greg Rousseau against the Browns in Week 16 had 7 quarterback hits and 2.5 sacks, and then Christian Gonzalez in the Super Bowl was targeted 8 times. He allowed 3 catches and he broke up 3 passes.
Yeah, Gonzalez was amazing, but those Myles Garrett ones are pretty hard not to look at and go, oh my gosh, right? I mean, they were special performances. Myles Garrett, special player, no doubt about it. I loved watching him and I don't know if you saw this, Micah Parsons going back and forth. Micah was kind of challenging him on like, I think I'm better than you and bringing up stats, and Myles wasn't having it. It was actually really funny. I encourage people to kind of check it out on Instagram, and it's actually pretty good, but 2 guys doing it just the right way of pushing back. It never got personal. They kind of joked. They threw some shots at each other, right? But it was just the right touch there.
And there's a little like wrestling character in Micah.
Yeah,
he knows how to be the instigator.
Oh, totally.
But he does draw the line.
Yeah,
because he's still playing. So
and he knows. And he kind of goes to the line, and then he lets you have your say, and he kind of laughs about it, and then he moves on to the next one. He is an incredible instigator. He loves to stir the pot. I think that's why me and him are friends, because we both like to stir the pot a little bit. Get the conversations go. But hey, everybody, that's it. That's it here right now. That's it for the NFL season, but that doesn't mean we're done. You know, we're here to stay. Next week, I got a bye week, all right?
Hell yeah, you do.
I got a week off. We're going to take the week. We're going to enjoy it. You're going to hear some other interviews from Radio Row instead of me and Connor live and the podcast and all that. So we'll do our best to continue to put stuff out during the week off. The week after that, Connor and I are in Indianapolis. The Combine, it starts. The 2026 season starts. It's the official, unofficial kickoff of the year, and that's where we'll start all things NFL offseason, Combine coverage, into free agency, back to the draft coverage, and do all that. You know where to find us. All things NBC Sports. That's where we'll be at. Connor, you the man,
Great
as
season.
always.
Yep.
USA. USA. Good luck to NBC in the Olympics. Check out the Olympics on all things NBC, Peacock, NBC Sports YouTube page. You know where to find all things that way. All right, everybody, be good. I appreciate you tuning in on a Wednesday. Little Super Bowl review, recap. All good. Be good. Have a good week. We'll see you in 2 weeks when we're at the NFL Combine. Peace out, homies.